Right now, Green Bay facing Detroit in the regular season finale with a trip to the playoffs on the line. We'll bring you those highlights. Plus, President Joe Biden making his first visit to the Mexico border. The details of that visit. That's all coming up right now on News 3 Now. Good evening, everyone, and thanks for joining us tonight. I'm McKenna Alexander, joined here with sports anchor Jordan Reed. Now, Jordan, Packers game just wrapped up in the last 15 minutes, and sad to say the Packers will not be in the playoffs next week.
Yeah, that's right, McKenna. You know, the Packers needed this win tonight to earn a spot, like you said, in the playoffs. But the Lions, you know, they came in and took care of business, pulled off that win. It was 20-16 as the final score up at Lambeau. The former Packer Jamal Williams actually scored both of Detroit's touchdowns. Packers finished the season 8-9, and now I'm going to break down the entire game in just a little bit when I return for Main Sports.
All right, thanks, Jordan. All eyes were on Northern Wisconsin as the Packers looked to finish a storyline turnaround to their season. And while they weren't able to get the victory tonight, Ranger Banster joined some Packers fans at Pooley's Sports Bar ahead of the game to hear the fans' thoughts on an up-and-down season.
Entering December, the 4-8 Packers season was on death's door. Only 2 times in NFL history has a 4-8 or worse team made the playoffs. But since, the Pack have won 4 straight, and a 5th sends Green Bay to the promised land. So I stopped by Pooley's Sports Bar to check in to see how Packers fans were feeling heading into the game.
We've got this. We're going to win it. We're going to get in the playoffs. It's our time. It's our time. Aaron Rodgers is here to shine. He's not going to let us down.
The Packers had a 3% chance at the playoffs 5 weeks ago, but Green Bay's 18-1 in December and January under Matt LaFleur. So while some lost hope, Cindy knew better.
I kept telling him, it's not over until it's over, you know.
And even a Cowboys fan will admit, when the 4-time MVP is on your side of the ball, you never say never.
When you got Aaron Rodgers on your team, you can't give up hope until you're mathematically eliminated. I mean, he's ran the table before. 2016, they were 4-6. He ran the table, and he's doing it right now again.
The Packers lost earlier in the year at Detroit, but Lambeau is no place for Lions. Since 1992, the Packers are 27-3 versus the Lions at Lambeau. But Cheryl says, forget the stats. Let's just get through tonight.
Let's just see what happens organically. I think this is a big deal tonight. We want to get in the playoffs. We want to be there. We need to be where we belong. And I think tonight's the night.
In Madison, Andrew Banstra, News 3 Now.
Let's get a look at your certified most accurate forecast and meteorologist, Julian Seawright. Julian, we need some sunshine after that game, but unfortunately it sounds like we probably aren't getting some for a little bit.
Yeah, that's right, McKenna. This pesky cloud cover that we're going to be dealing with is just going to be hanging on just a little longer, especially as we get into the rest of tonight. But the clouds aren't going to be the only issue. We are dealing with some patchy fog. Luckily, it's not very dense, but it has lower visibility from areas just southwest of Dane County. But you can even see from Madison itself, we're at 9 miles as of right now, in areas just to the western part. This would be from Middleton, Cross Plains, areas just to the west. We're looking at even lower visibility as of right now. So if you're traveling for tonight, just note that it will be a bit on the foggy side, and this is going to carry into our early Monday morning as well. So looking ahead right now, of course, it's cold outside. Temperatures are at 22 degrees. We're going to be seeing those lower and middle 20s throughout the rest of the overnight hours, with cloud cover really blanketing our skies, and the wind chill values will be feeling like it's into the teens. Tomorrow, we are looking for milder temperatures, however. The cloud cover is going to be back and forth, but we're still going to be looking at it to mainly be cloudy throughout the course of our Monday, with temperatures into the upper 30s, and we are also watching for some morning fog that could return once we get into our Monday night as well. We'll be planning out everything that you need to know in just a few moments. Until then, back to you, McKenna.
All right, thanks, Julian. A special moment in Buffalo today as the Bills won their first game since Damar Hamlin went into cardiac arrest on the field Monday night. League-wide, NFL fans and teams showed their support with prayer and tributes as Hamlin remains hospitalized on his way to recovery. Bradley Blackburn shows us an incredible moment that happened during kickoff of today's game.
The Bills did it for Damar.
This is storybook, an opening kickoff return for Damar Hamlin, and this place is absolutely going wild.
With their safety Damar Hamlin recovering in an Ohio hospital, Buffalo scored a first-play touchdown, winning Sunday's home game against the New England Patriots. The Bills made their triumphant return to the field after Hamlin went into cardiac arrest during last Monday's game against the Cincinnati Bengals.
It's been amazing, but all that was for him, and I'm happy for the things that happened to me, but I was spirited. I felt like he was out there with us.
All around Buffalo's Highmark Stadium Sunday, good spirits were in large supply as fans celebrated Hamlin's remarkable progress.
that he's awake, he's cognitive, it's a miracle.
Just outside, fans signed a giant get well card for the 24-year-old safety. In Cincinnati and at NFL games nationwide, Hamlin's 3 has become an inspiring symbol.
Just to see, the whole NFL and the whole country, sit there and surround him and give prayer was absolutely unbelievable.
Buffalo has seen tragedy in the last year, a mass shooting, a deadly record-breaking blizzard, and now Hamlin's injury. But Bills fans say celebrating his recovery at the game was a moment of joy.
It's just a community coming together, and not only that, every community coming together because we all love the Bills that much.
Cheering on his teammates from his hospital bed, Hamlin tweeted a photo of himself sitting up and wearing his jersey and cap. He wrote, "Game time."
Hamlin continued tweeting during the game, celebrating with his teammates and thanking fans for their support. The Bills now look forward to the playoffs. Back here in Wisconsin, downtown Madison is the perfect place to celebrate the season with friends and family. And tomorrow is the last day you can check out the downtown holiday celebration called Shine On Madison. The 6-week community event started in 2017 to increase visibility and traffic to downtown businesses. Throughout these 6 weeks, the event featured seasonal lighting ceremonies, a winter market, a special focus on downtown retailers, enjoyment of the arts, and a strong sense of community. Around the state, a Chippewa Falls woman has been sentenced to 2 years of probation for assaulting 3 hospital workers. The Eau Claire Leader-Telegram reports a 33-year-old woman was sentenced Friday after pleading no contest to a felony count of bodily harm to a healthcare provider. Police were called to Mayo Clinic healthcare system in Eau Claire in July after reports of a woman punching a staff member attempting to take her blood pressure. Another nurse was also punched while trying to help the woman use the restroom, and a second nurse was kicked after police arrived. As part of her sentence, she must also go under a mental health assessment. 5 college basketball players were hospitalized following a workout, and now their coach has been temporarily removed. Concordia University Chicago postponed 2 games as a result of those rigorous workouts. University officials believe it stems from a tough workout, which some think was a punishment for players missing curfew after a loss earlier this season. The NCAA declined to comment. Now that they've elected a speaker, House Republicans are now planning on forming a new select committee to investigate the Department of Justice and the FBI. Lawmakers say they want to target the agencies and their ongoing investigations, particularly those into former President Donald Trump. The new expanded committee proposal is a result of one of the key concessions House Speaker Kevin McCarthy made to his opposition to secure the gavel. The proposal is included in the House Rules package, which establishes the rules and committees for the 118th Congress and is set to be put up for a vote Monday. If the proposal passes, McCarthy would be able to select 13 lawmakers to serve on the subcommittee, 5 of whom would be chosen in consultation with House Democratic leader Hakeem Jeffries. Congressman Mike Rogers of Alabama has issued an apology of sorts to fellow House member Matt Gaetz of Florida. Rogers tweeted he regrets losing his temper on the House floor Friday when he went after Gaetz for once again not supporting Kevin McCarthy for Speaker. The moment came during the 14th ballot to elect a new Speaker. Rogers says he and Gaetz have had a long and productive working relationship that he expects will continue. Gaetz, meanwhile, says he does forgive Rogers. President Biden making his first visit to the border today since he took office, coming just days after Biden announced a crackdown on unauthorized border crossings and expanded restrictions on asylum. As El Paso has seen a surge in migration and resources are being stretched thin. Christian Benavides shows us his visit.
Amid intense scrutiny over his immigration policies, President Biden visited the border for the first time as commander-in-chief. In El Paso, he met with local officials as well as Border Patrol agents at the city's busiest port of entry. El Paso has been struggling to cope with an influx of migrants.
It's a real drastic situation. It's a real crisis. I don't know what's going to happen.
Pastor Rafael Garcia, one of the many faith leaders on the ground, seeing the impact firsthand.
They're not going to disappear. So you need to have some sort of a solution for them that's humane.
With a patchwork system.
On Thursday, the president announced sweeping restrictions on asylum. The new policy says migrants crossing from Nicaragua, Cuba, and Haiti will be immediately expelled to Mexico, a policy that already applies to Venezuelans. Instead, the U.S. will accept 30,000 people a month from those 4 countries if they apply through a legal process and have a financial sponsor in the U.S.
I would have loved to have seen the administration
administration lean in on immigration from day one.
Why didn't
because, you know, you'd have to ask them that. The executive branch is not the only branch of government that needs to do its job, though.
Democratic Representative Veronica Escobar, who's at the border with Biden, says Congress needs to act. Texas Republican governor met Biden upon his arrival, where he handed him a letter expressing his views on border laws before offering sharp criticism on the administration's immigration policy.
The president, who caused the chaos of the border, needed to be here. It just so happens he's 2 years and about $20 billion too late.
New polling shows only 38% of Americans approve of Mr. Biden's handling of immigration, while 62% disapprove. Cristian Benavides, CBS News.
The president heads to Mexico City next for the North American Leaders Summit to discuss immigration, drug trafficking, and economic partnerships. Around the world, a chaotic scene in Brazil. Supporters of former Brazilian President Bolsonaro broke through security barriers today and gained access to the country's congressional building, its Supreme Court, and the presidential palace. Video shows that massive crowds are walking up a ramp that leads to the congressional building and getting inside. The security breach comes about a week after the inauguration of the country's former leader, President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva. Supporters of Bolsonaro have camped out in the capital area since he lost the election. The country's armed forces had set up barriers to protect the buildings, but Bolsonaro's supporters breached them. The armed forces are expected to remove the protesters from the occupied buildings. After 3 years under zero COVID restrictions, Beijing's borders are once again open. The first international flights of the new era landed today in China. At the same time, a wave of destinations are imposing restrictions on travelers from China. Portugal is just the latest to join the list, now requiring a negative COVID test for those air passengers. Still ahead tonight at 10:30, supporting the hospitality industry with beer and donuts. How a local festival achieved that this afternoon.
Wisconsin. It's easy to take for granted how we warm up, but what if you couldn't warm up so easily? For many, it's a reality they can't ignore. Working families, elderly, disabled, and veterans struggling to keep their heat and power on in the dangerous cold of winter. If you or someone you know needs a hand up, our energy, water, and emergency rental assistance providers are working together to keep you safe in your home. No one deserves to suffer when we can help each other.
Do you have an idea for an invention, but you don't know what to do next? Call InventHelp. They've been helping inventors for 35 years. InventHelp has helped over 10,000 inventors get patents. You can meet with an InventHelp representative who'll keep your idea confidential and explain their invention process step by step. And InventHelp's databank includes over 9,000 companies who have agreed to review new ideas. Take action and get the help you need from InventHelp.
800-550-5543.
Hey, it's me, your dry skin. I'm craving something we're missing. The ceramides in CeraVe. CeraVe, developed with dermatologists, contains 3 essential ceramides to replenish ones I've lost and help restore my natural barrier. So I can lock in moisture and we can feel it long after. We're in this together. With CeraVe, we have what we need to stay protected.
CeraVe, the #1 dermatologist-recommended skincare brand.
When pain says I'm here, I say, so are they. Just one Aleve. 12 hours of uninterrupted pain relief. Aleve. Who do you take it for?
Tomorrow morning, we'll have the biggest plays and some new reaction to tonight's high-stakes showdown between the Packers and the Lions.
And it looks like the quiet and mild weather will continue into next week. Join us tomorrow morning between 4:30 and 7.
On the Jennifer Hudson Show, please welcome Mario Lopez.
So good to be here.
You've interviewed me for years, and now I get to interview you.
It's sort of a trip.
And Todrick Hall.
On the next Jennifer Hudson Show at 3.
You're watching News 3 Now at 10.
Here in Madison this afternoon, it's been about two things: donuts and beer at the Delta Beer Lab. Donut Fest made its way to the Madison Brewery today for an afternoon of fresh-baked donuts and brews. Several local and regional donut vendors, including Greenbush Bakery, were featured in the festival, which makes its way to 20 different cities. The event supports the Hospitality Fund, raising money for an industry making a comeback coming out of the pandemic. Delta Beer Lab is no stranger to hosting events, and there's a reason for that.
Every city that we go into, we look for, a brewery that, is unique and, has a good vibe that we can, have a great event and celebrate and honor donuts and beer on a great Sunday.
Donut Fest welcomed both guests who pre-registered online and those who showed up at the door. And for those who prefer coffee with their donuts, that was also available. Speaking of beer, it's getting more expensive to drink. The alcohol consulting company Bump Williams says beer prices, not including sales at bars and restaurants, jumped at 7% during the last 13 weeks of last year. The firm says prices of some popular beers, including Bud Light, Miller Lite, and Coors Light, increased even higher by 10% during that time. Breweries have had to raise prices due to inflation and the increased cost of shipping and ingredients. However, industry insiders say while people are generally buying less beer, higher prices are making up for it, with sales up by about 2% last year. For those of you participating in a dry January where you don't drink any alcohol this month, new research shows the benefits of abstaining from alcohol for just 1 month can have benefits that last into the new year. The Washington Post reported on one study found in BMJ Open, which found that people who stopped drinking for a month saw significantly improved metabolism. Those people also shed about 4.5 pounds, had lower blood pressure, and a substantial reduction in levels of insulin resistance. Researchers also found that months later, people who did not drink in January were drinking less alcohol in general, as compared to people who didn't participate. Medical professionals also say taking a break from alcohol can help you sleep better, elevate your mood and energy levels, which can also reinforce the habit. With the new year underway, now may be the time to supercharge your exercise routine. For those who have walking in their regular regimen, it may be the treadmill that can help get you there. Treadmills hold a spot in the top 3 of most popular pieces of equipment at U.S. health clubs. An industry research group says more than 50 million people were using them in 2017. And the treadmill manufacturing industry is growing at more than 2% clip in the past several years. Exercise experts say utilizing these several features of treadmills can help burn those calories a bit faster. You can consider turning up the speed of the treadmill to change your pace, and if that's too much, just try going steeper by using the incline feature on your next workout. Fitness experts say if you're able to do both, interval training is optimum to alternate the intensity of your treadmill workout. Meteorologist Julian Siraj joins us now with their certified most accurate forecast.
Well, speaking of exercise, over the next few days, we are looking at temperatures that will be very tolerable for those who would like to go outside and get that walk-in or for a nice run into our afternoon hours. For the next week or so, we're going to be seeing temperatures well above average here in not just the upper Midwest, but throughout much of the country. Take a look at our surface map. Overnight, we're still going to be dealing with some cold temperatures below freezing, but we are going to see a stalled out front start to move its way into the upper Midwest, bringing in a bit more warmer air as we head into our Monday. But with it, since this high pressure system is just into the southern parts of Illinois, we're still going to be dealing with some cloud cover and even some foggy conditions. So let's get into tomorrow. Tomorrow, our high temperature could be near the upper 30s for us here in Madison. Some areas really going to be looking for the middle 30s to be the sweet spot throughout the course of our Monday. We're going to see cloud cover be back and forth between being mostly cloudy, partly cloudy, but it's going to be varying regardless, with milder temperatures really sticking around. But folks, beware though, we are looking for some patchy fog as we're waking up for our Monday morning, so that could lower visibility. So just make sure that you're being careful when traveling throughout our Monday morning. Now, outside of that, temperatures again are going to be around the upper to middle 30s throughout much of southern Wisconsin. As we head into the overnight hours, around 7 o'clock, we're still going to be dealing with some areas of some patchy fog. Temperatures will be into the lower 20s, upper teens, just near Mineral Point and Lone Rock. And as we head into the lunchtime hour, we could potentially start to finally see a break of that cloud cover, but still have some areas of fog just to the southwest as that southerly winds are starting to bring in a bit more of that warmth for us, pushing those temperatures into the upper 30s. Transitioning around the 5 p.m. commute, we're going to see cloud cover resurge itself. Once again, again and blanket our skies heading into our Monday nights. Transitioning into our Tuesday morning, may see a couple of flurries for some isolated areas, a couple of flakes, but it's not really going to be much of an inconvenience heading into our Tuesday morning. Instead, it's going to be cloud cover, potentially some fog, and then going into our Tuesday afternoon, that's right, the cloud cover is not really going to be going anywhere for us. Mostly cloudy skies are going to be on tap. Heading into our Tuesday nights, we are going to be watching for potentials of some snow starting to develop coming in from the west and starting to spread itself overnight into our Wednesday morning. So be prepared for Wednesday morning to have a little bit of some inconvenience on the roadways. Now, outside of that, though, here's a look at some of the visibility that's going to be fluctuating throughout much of our Monday morning through many areas of southern Wisconsin. The morning hours and our evening hours are where we're expecting the visibility to be at its lowest throughout the course of the day. So late morning and early afternoon throughout much of southern Wisconsin, mainly going to be okay, but be careful throughout the morning hours and for the evening as well. Now, one thing we're going to be watching for is potential next weather maker going into our Wednesday nights, Thursday and Friday. As of right now, the system seems to be setting up mainly south, so this would be the Illinois state line, but there are some things that we're going to be watching for. As of right now, it's going to be a system that will be in the midweek, could bring in some mixed precipitation, transitioning into some snowfall from Thursday night into our Friday, but we still have some questions of where that storm's going to be tracking, or that system's going to be tracking, where those areas of impact are really going to be hitting, and on top of it, how high the temperatures are going to be rising, because that could influence, once again, what kind of precipitation we're going to be seeing. So here's a look at our 10-day forecast. Over the next few days, again, we're going to be seeing those upper 30s. It's going to be pretty decent for this time of year to go outside and enjoy the weather, especially since we're not looking at much in terms of any precipitation until we get into our Wednesday nights and heading into our Thursday and for Friday morning. Outside of that, though, McKenna, temperatures are not going to be breaking out of the 30s, maybe even see 40s going into this week and the week after.
I'll take it.
Yeah, that's nice.
All right, thanks, Jolene. Coming up, we take a look at the Packers' tough loss to Detroit tonight. Jordan has that and more coming up next in sports.
Well, in case you didn't catch the top of our show, it's another heartbreaking end to the Packers season. All they needed was one more win to punch their ticket to the playoffs, but the Lions came to Lambeau with a different idea. Now, here's what went down tonight in the regular season finale. Packers struggling to find the end zone in the first half, so Mason Crosby comes to the rescue. He nails 3 field goals, and it's going to be 9-6 at halftime. Then the former Packer strikes. Jamal Williams with the short score gives Detroit the lead in the third quarter. Well, Aaron Rodgers and company, they answer right back. He's going to find Allen Lazard at the back of the end zone for a 13-yard touchdown. And, I mean, we've got ourselves a game out in the frozen tundra. The Lions, they're not backing down. The fourth quarter on the move when a costly penalty on Quay Walker, that actually gets him ejected. It moves the Lions deeper into the red zone, and that eventually leads to another Williams touchdown. So Rodgers, he's going to get the ball one more time, but it ends up being intercepted. Detroit pulls off the win. Green Bay, as the Packers' playoff hopes get dashed, 20-16 is the final score. Now, checking in with the Badgers in the NFL, it also happens to be J.J. Watt's last game. He's going to go out in style. He stacks Brock Purdy twice to bring his season total to 12.5 sacks. Now, also in the same game, Corey Clement punches one in for the Cardinals, and that ends up being his first tutty of the season. Now we're going to head out to Denver, where Russell Wilson was just slinging it this afternoon. He finishes the day with 3 touchdowns. That helps the Broncos snap their 2-game skid. Not the return home that the Badger women's hockey team hoped for. Minnesota Duluth bested UW at LeBon in the series opener, and now the Badgers look to avoid their first sweep of the season. Well, Jane Gervais back between the pipes for Wisconsin, her first game back since the Minnesota series from November. And this one is all defense. Each side smothering the other. That keeps it scoreless through 2 periods. Well, then at a second intermission, Annika Linzer lights the lamp for the Bulldogs. That would be the lone goal in this outing. The Badgers outshoot UMD 28-26, but fall 1-0. That marks their second shutout in a week. After a tough loss in the Big Ten opener, Badger Wrestling hit the road to face Illinois. Garrett Model gets the duel started in 1:57, so he gets those 2 points for that takedown. Model puts Bucky on the board after a 5-1 decision. Now, next up is Dean Hamady, and he's looking to follow suit, so he starts racking up mega near-fall points. He goes on to win by tech fall. That pushes Wisconsin's lead to 8, but the Illini, battle back. They're only trailing by a pair of points in the 141 bout when Danny Pacino comes away with the pin and Illinois squeaks out the dub 18-17. Now, some big news out of Wisconsin women's basketball. The team announced this afternoon that senior Sydney Hilliard is stepping away from the program for personal reasons. In the statement, Hilliard says, in part, quote, "This was not a decision I took lightly." She also says, "The love and support of my family, friends, and Badger teammates and coaches has meant the world to me, and I'll always be grateful to all of them." Now we're going to head over to the action. Badgers return to the Kohl Center for round 1 of the border battle, and it's going to come down to the final minutes of the fourth quarter. They're down by 2. Julie Posh-Pishlova takes it all the way up and in. It's 2 of her game-high 20, and it ties the game up. Now Avery LaBarba is going to have the final say, dials up from distance, puts Wisconsin on top for good. They pick up their first Big Ten win of the season, beating Minnesota 81-77.
All right, thanks, Jordan. Stay with us. We have one final check your forecast coming up after this.
The New Year's Super Sale at Denver Mattress has been extended. So there's still time to save $100 on every $1,000 you spend. Or check out the Summit Firm for only $279.99. Plus 4 years no interest and free shipping. Happy New Year from Denver Mattress.
It's a foodie's paradise in this month's Madison magazine. Explore our editor's list of restaurants and chefs transforming the local dining scene. Then create an indoor Eden with our Homebody's Guide to Houseplants. Madison magazine, online and on newsstands now.
Want to know right now what the weather will be like tomorrow? Download the First Warn Weather app and you'll get my customized forecast for tonight and tomorrow.
The First Warn Weather app. Get it now. Powered by News 3 Now.
Attention mothers, did you take Tylenol or other acetaminophen pain-relieving products while pregnant? Recent evidence suggests children whose mothers took Tylenol while pregnant may be more likely to develop autism. Other acetaminophen products at risk include Excedrin, NyQuil, Dayquil, and other store-brand pain relievers. Children with autism have a hard time interacting with others. Those on the spectrum usually begin exhibiting social symptoms by the time they're 8 to 10 months old. Call now for a free confidential consultation.
Please call 800-379-7867.
When pain says, "I'm here," I say, so are they. Just want to leave. 12 hours of uninterrupted pain relief. Aleve. Who do you take it for?
Hey, it's me, your dry skin. I'm craving something we're missing. The ceramides in CeraVe. CeraVe, developed with dermatologists, contains 3 essential ceramides to replenish ones I've lost and help restore my natural barrier. So I can lock in moisture and we can feel it long after. We're in this together. With CeraVe, we have what we need to stay protected.
CeraVe, the #1 dermatologist-recommended skincare brand.
I'm a little old to count down the days, but my ski trip to Cascade Mountain with my cousin each year, so much fun. We used to pretend like we were flying. Now, we really do. My dad and my uncle like that we still ski free. But Noah and I, we just have fun. See you there.
Experience, knowledge, and results. That's what you need when you've been in a serious truck accident. Call Gruber Law Offices. We've successfully helped people injured by big trucks for more than 35 years. Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
The New Year's Super Sale at Denver Mattress has been extended. So there's still time to save $100 on every $1,000 you spend. Or check out the Summit Firm for only $279.99. Plus 4 years no interest and free shipping. Happy New Year from Denver Mattress.
Watch News 3 Now at 5 with Eric, Susan, and Gary. Weeknights.
And to wrap things up for us, our 10-day forecast. Folks, expect temperatures to be well above average. Our dry streak will continue, though, until we get into about our Wednesday night into Thursday and Friday. Then we have an opportunity to start to see some showers in our forecast. We'll have News 3 Now this morning starting at 4:30.